Cai and Bedwyr were two of Arthur's greatest warriors. And one day they decided to walk up to the top of the mountains of Pumlummon, just inland from Aberystwyth in West Wales. And they stood there and noticed that the wind was getting up. And suddenly this wind started to blow stronger and stronger and stronger. And even though they were mighty warriors and strong men, they were worried that this wind was going to blow them off the edge of the mountain and down to their deaths in the valley below. And as they struggled to hold their footing, they noticed something down in the valley. There was smoke coming from some kind of campfire. But there was something strange about this smoke. The smoke went straight up in a dead straight line. It was blown neither to the left nor the right by the great gale that was blowing around them, ready to hurl them down into the valley. And Cai nudged Bedwyr and said, "Look at that. That fire must come from a great warrior. Let's go and see who he is." As they went down the side of the mountain, bit by bit, the wind stopped. And they got closer and closer, and they could see that there was a big bearded warrior, and he was squatting by a big fire. And on the fire, a wild boar piglet was roasting. And Bedwyr wanted to go and see the man and introduce themselves, and Cai says, "No, wait a minute, don't you know who that is?" That is Dillus Varfog. He is the only warrior in the world who has outfaced Arthur in battle and walked away. He seems hungry, he seems about to eat, so let him enjoy his meal. It's his last. And Dillus didn't know they were there. He sat down and he ate a wild boar whole. And then he put another wild boar piglet onto the fire, roasted it and ate it whole again. And he ate 4 wild boar piglets, and eventually he keeled over and started to snore. Cai and Bedwyr looked at each other. They hatched a plan without even speaking. Cai started to dig a hole right beside Dillus, the big bearded warrior. And Bedwyr, he went off into the woods to try and find some bits of wood. And he managed to improvise a pair of pliers because, you see, for this job, no metal could be used. And what was the job? They needed to pluck 2 strands of beard from the face of Dillus Varfog in order to make leads that would hold the 2 pups of the wolf bitch Rhymni. Nothing else would be strong enough to hold them. And these dogs would be used in the hunt of the Culhwch Trwyth. And here was Dillus Varfog, asleep right in front of them. The wooden pliers were ready, the hole was big and deep, everything was ready. Cai and Bedwyr put their shoulders against the big warrior, and now he really did look huge. And 1, 2, 3, poof, they gave him a shove, and he fell down into the hole, crunch. And if he was asleep when he fell in, he was awake when he hit the bottom. He looked up, outraged. Bedwyr, he leaned in with the wooden pliers he'd made in his hand, and pluck, pluck, he took 2 strands of beard from Dillus's chin, and Dillus screamed and shouted, and his scream, thump, was cut short by Cai, who had taken his sword and cut off Dillus's head. They got to Culhwch in Cornwall, the court of King Arthur, and in they went, and Bedwyr and Cai together, they told the story of what they'd done. And as the story finished, Cai, he lifted up his hand, and there he held the 2 strands of beard from the chin of Dillus Varfog. Remember, Dillus was the only warrior who had ever outfaced Arthur in battle, and now Cai had killed that man. And when Arthur saw this, he sang a verse, an englyn, which went like this: Tenyn wnaeth Cai, o farf Dillus fab Efrai. Pe byddai'n iach ac yma, dy angau fyddai Cai. Cai, sang Arthur, has made a lead from the beard of Dillus, the son of Efrai. Well, if Dillus was in this room now and in front of Cai and alive and well, it would be Cai's death. Everyone laughed. Everyone except Cai. He opened his hand and let those 2 leads fall to the ground, those 2 strands of beard. He turned and he walked out. He didn't once look back. He walked out. He never, ever, ever came back. And the heart of the strongest warrior there sank when they saw their great hero walking away.